Don't forget to like this video, comment, subscribe, and share. Let's get into something that's popular, but let's give you something a little bit different, right? Same thing, but a little different. So, I Want You Back originally was called I Want to Be Free. And this came up from the corporation. The corporation Barry Gordy put together, they were like the rivals to Holland Dozier or Holland. They were kind of like the answer. Holland Dozier and Holland had left the year previously, and so Deke Richards was already there, and the rest of the guys, it was kind of like doing little things, being musicians on certain track, and but they got together. Barry Gordy put them together, and they started writing songs. One of the songs that came up was with I Want to Be Free. Gladys Knight in the Pips was given the first dibs at it. And then Diana Ross ended up taking it, but Diana Ross didn't like it. So David Ruffin actually got a hold of the track as well. And he did something on it. I'm going to get to that a little later in the video. It became I Want You Back by the time, Dave Ruffin got it or whatever. But Barry Gordy was like, let's give it to these new kids I just signed, the Jackson 5. They cut it on the Jackson 5. It blows up. Right? It becomes this phenomenal track. And, this was covered a few times, actually, at Motown. And we all know the Jackson 5 version. That's the first version that's known to exist on wax. These guys, put their foot in it. And Barry Gordy, had made the corporation recut the track. Let me put that in there, because originally the Funk Brothers did I Want You Back, but Barry Gordy didn't want the feel on it with the Jackson 5, so he made the corporation recut it with the Wrecking Crew. The Wrecking Crew had different musicians. They had like they had musicians for the urban side, and they had it for like the white pop type stuff. So like the Glenn Campbell, Beach Boys type thing, as years progressed, more black musicians got into the Wrecking Crew. There was only a few. That's neither here and there. So this is the first version, I Want You Back. let's get into the next version that was released, the cover version. It was done a couple of years later by Martha Reeves and the Vandellas on the Black Magic album, released in January 1972. Um, they also had a track on that same album that was written by the corporation called Bless You. I think it was a little too churchy for the Jackson 5, so they just let Martha Reeves and Vandellas really take that one. So the version of I Want You Back by Martha Reeves and Vandellas, this version is okay. It's not one of my favorite versions. It's okay. It's not like the Jackson 5. But of course, everybody got to do their own different renditions. And the corporation produced this version and arranged this version. And I mean, it's pretty good, but it's not my favorite. It's good to hear different renditions. I think only certain people can get a gasp on certain songs of that stature. And there's a reason why, the Jackson 5 version is the most played version to this day, 60 something years later. Or, close to 60. So, remember when I mentioned David Ruffin had his version? This is the Funk Brothers. Funk Brothers was on this version. This was going to be on David's album that was supposed to come out in 1971. But due to disputes and certain issues at Motown, the politics, they decided to shelve the album. Instead, they went with the Jimmy Ruffin and David Ruffin album. It was called, I think it was called Brothers or something, Two Brothers, something like that. But this album had the 1969 rendition of what I said the Funk Brothers did the track. David sung on it. And so, but David Ruffin version didn't come out. It didn't come out until like 2004. His version is okay. It's not the best version. It's not a great version. It's very David Ruffin. I often sometimes think about what if the Temptations would have got a hold of it while David was in the group. It probably would have sounded even more different. But this version, like I said, didn't come out till like 2004. So, by then, David had passed away. And the rights was sold and stuff like that. So this is really these are the three versions. Me personally, I'm just gonna stick with the Jackson 5 version because that's what I'm accustomed to. And I think it's the best version out of the three, or should I say out the three, this is the best version. You can't go wrong with Michael Jackson and Jackson 5. Um, but I recommend checking out the Martha Reeves version as well as the David Ruffin version because you should. And let me know what you think. Comment, like, subscribe. You know what? I didn't do my rating. Well, yeah, I kind of did, but uh, if we're gonna say for the Jackson 5, I mean 5 stars easily. Martha Reeves, Vandella's version, maybe I'll say 3.5. David version, I'll say maybe that'd be a 3.5 as well. I think the Jackson 5 won this hands down. It was made for them. It was best that they got it. So, all right, like, comment, subscribe. I'm out.